Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to Monday Night PSGL in Formula 6. We have been away for a week, and now we are back, and we move on from Qatar to Bahrain in the desert as we are racing. So we have seen the season opener 2 weeks ago, and today it's race 2. Joining you from the commentary box, it's Salim Haddad alongside me, Speed Quinn, welcoming you. Good evening, Speed. How are you doing? How are you feeling about tonight's race?
Oh, I'm feeling really good, of course. These guys have had a week's rest, of course, because of the Brazilian Grand Prix last week, because of the conflicting times, but it's been good. I'm just looking forward to this race tonight here in Bahrain, which is going to be very interesting because there are some similarities to Spain, but of course it's going to be very difficult. Of course, the soft tyres in race trim do not last a long time, so it'll be interesting to see what people do with strategies. We may see a lot of one stops. We might even see some people starting on hards here today.
Well, of course, the temperature of the track and the high braking zones play a big factor in the tire degradation.
Yeah, definitely does. So you can see all drivers apart from, well, 5 people. I say that Marnix is just leaving the pits now, I believe. Unless he's just entered. I'm not too sure what's happened to the house in the pits. It looked like it was going out on track, but then he just stopped. He's just gone into the pits, that's why. But yeah, there's all drivers out on track, apart from 5 drivers at the moment. I'm on board with Joey at the moment, as I believe he was the first person out on track. And yeah, just gonna see what time he can set first and foremost on his lap, as he gets on the curb just a bit too much there. Well, he doesn't even do that, he just touches the curb and it spits him out of the corner. So it's very unfortunate for him, but it has stayed valid, so it won't be a representative time here from Joey, but it will be a 28.8, which is a solid banker lap from him. Of course, we know that he can go faster. Just waiting on the next person. Who's it going to be to cross the line? I believe it's going to be SBS Fusion who's going to cross the line, and then Nicholas Boita, I believe. Or it might be Marnix. No, it is Boita. He puts in a 28.1. So Mentos a 28.7 as well, joining SPS Fusion. And we have a Red Bull, which will be Carlsberry. See what time he can put up on the board. It's a 29.1 from Carlsberry, so a bit off the pace. TF Lynx is 1.5 tenths behind Nicholas Boita. The Sem is about 4 tenths behind, but Leon goes 16 thousandths faster than Nicholas Boita. So one of the more dominant drivers from last race in Barcelona, already showing his dominance in this quali session.
Well, I would like to say hello for the viewers, and I would like to ask them to let us know in the chats where are you watching from. Drop a hi, we will read that for you. As Chris Hallett just got a 128.1, currently provisional pole position, of course. You can see how close the drivers are within each other. It's within 1 second separating the first driver from, theoretically speaking, the last driver, because Bruno did not get a valid lap. Same thing for Run, 147. It's not very representative of a proper lap in Bahrain. And speaking of
No, it's not
Bahrain,
really.
And speaking of Bahrain, here's a small fact for you. The word Bahrain means two seas in Arabic.
I did not know that.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, so I'm just on board with one Elliot at the moment, as he had a little bit of a moment going through turn 11, I believe. Just on the exit of turn 11, he got on the power a bit too much, and he had a little bit of oversteer. But he's kept it going, he's kept it valid. It might not be a representative time from one Elliot, but we both know it could be very quick, and even with the little moment, he's put in a 128.1. So without that mistake, he could well have been in the close to the 27s, as Bruno puts in a time that is 1,000th behind Chris Haller. So now we have the top 5 all in the 28.1s, and then the next 3 all in the 28.3s.
So Formula 6 is very, very competitive compared to Formula 8 last season.
Yeah, I would say that. Not even... Like, the top 15 drivers are separated by just... Well, the 15 drivers who have put times on the board are separated by just over a second. And there's still 5 more drivers to put their times in, so could end up having the whole grid being separated by less than a second.
You know, I'm curious to know what time is Slinky going to be able to get. Slinky was fighting for the championship last season in Formula 8, and he was promoted to Formula 6. He finished in second while fighting against Peter Vol, who is a missing
Speaking
name.
of Peter Vol, he's not here. Peter Vol is not here. Instead, we have Trust Run.
Maybe he's watching the World Cup.
Yeah, potentially.
As Slinky is going on his outlap, the decorated Dutch driver with his orange helmet, he has had the Slinky fan club last season. They were supporting him through the good and the bad. And he's very respected by the community. He is the league admin, I believe. The division admin, to be accurate.
Yeah, he's been very good, and just there, Joey and his teammate kind of getting in the way of each other. Yeah, Leon had invalidated his outlap, and he kind of got in the way of Joey, because Joey had to really go around the outside. So he compromised his line just a little bit, but we'll just have to see if it is an overall improvement for Joey RC. As he gets around the final corner, and he's gone into the pits. His teammate actually impeded him. Leon got on his way going down into turn 11. And he had to really compromise his line. So it's not good for the Alfa Romeo boys.
As Slinky is starting his lap, heading now into turn 1. A high braking zone goes down to third gear, short shifts into fourth, short shifts into fifth once again, heading into the first DRS zone. And you can see he's using a lot of he's using the track limits to the maximum. This is the Esport racing line, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a purple sector 1 from Slinky. Maybe personal best.
Yeah, it's a good sector 1 from Slinky here. And he could well find himself up there with his former rival, well, from last season, Chris Hallett.
He might have some traffic in front of him.
Yeah, there is a lot of cars there in front of him. We'll have to see what his Well, I don't think there will be a Sector 2 split difference.
Purple
No.
Sector 2.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, I'd say, in the top 10.
If not top 5.
Yeah.
Heading into turn 14 to turn 15. Final DRS zone. Across the finish line. And it's a 128.0 from Slinky. It's provisional pole position. My goodness, what a time.
That was a great lap, but Chris Haller just smashes it. A 27.7 from Chris Haller. Nicholas Boiter goes 7,000 faster than Slinky. There's a big car park happening just onto the entry of turn 1, and the Mercedes has to find a way to slot himself in. Nico puts in a 28.074 as well. So 3 drivers in the 28.0s, but only 1 driver in the 27.7s at the moment, which is Chris Hallett, and that is a very, very good lap from Chris Hallett there with 6 minutes left. You might be thinking that with a time like that, and nearly 3 tenths the gap between himself and second, he might actually be safe unless someone like Leon or One Elliott could pull out an amazing lap. One Elliott, as I said, puts in a 27.9, so it might not be safe for Chris Hallett. Just going to go on. Well, Leon has just come in the pits again, I believe. So I believe he might only have 1 more try to get a fast lap in. Everyone else is either finishing, coming into the pits, or they're doing their first lap.
Well, with 5 minutes to go, we're definitely going to see everyone improving their lap times, especially that the cars are going to have less amount of fuel, which means lighter cars, which means faster lap times. And with 2 drivers now hitting the 127s, we might see a lot of surprises. Slinky was happy for a few milliseconds, a few seconds he had provisional pole position until Chris Hallett ruined his day. Same thing for Nicolas Boita and One Elliott, who were able to find themselves ahead of Slinky, respectively in first, second, and third place. 2 drivers have yet to complete their lap times. Marnix has retired from the session, so it's going to be only El Pilotor who is still in the pits. I mean, what are you waiting for? 4 minutes to go.
I think you just want to be one of the last people to, or if not the last person to cross the start-finish line. Yeah, that's just the main thing. You want to be the last person to be able to set a valid time.
And at the moment, there's only 1 car on track, and it's Trust Run in the Alpine.
Yeah, I believe he is on his in lap at the moment. Yeah, he's running on low fuel mode at the moment, so he's just trundling along to the pit lane.
It's going to be the Mercedes of Kyle.
Yeah, just Kyle on the track. He's doing a similar thing to what the Mercedes in real life did recently at Abu Dhabi. Just wants to get out as early as possible, run his own laps, potentially not risk any traffic, but with it getting so close to the end of the session, I very well might think that he's going to encounter a lot of traffic, with most of the grid still have to come out.
Well, with 2 minutes to go, it's still Chris Hallett on provisional pole position with a 127.7. The rules are very simple. If you want to start from first place, you got to beat that lap time.
Yeah, that's the main thing. You just got to beat it. It sounds simple when you say it, but actually doing it and getting a faster time is going to be very difficult. as Kyle is just starting his flying lap now. He might find himself in a good bit of space. He does have an AlphaTauri ahead of him, which I believe is Chris Hallett, or it might be El Pilotor. No, he's in the pits. It will be Chris Hallett who's out ahead. Just going to stick on board with Kyle Scarrett now. Takes very, very tight line there. He has 18 thousandths down on his time, so no improvement in Sector 1. Of course, he would need to improve his time by 8 tenths, really, to get into the top 10, maybe even more, with people just doing their laps, or just starting their out laps or their actual laps now. He has still got the traffic of the AlphaTauri ahead of him, but he hasn't really been catching it as quickly as I'd thought. There's Chris Hallett, and I believe he is on his outlap. So there's a 5/10 improvement there from Kyle Scarrett going through Sector 2, heading down to the last corner, well, technically 2 corners, as this little right hand there is counted as a corner. As we get up to the line, what will it be for Kyle Scarrett? It's only 4.5 tenths improvement, but it does move him up to P14.
Well, any improvement is an improvement, no matter how small it is. You gotta keep your head up. It's less than a minute to go, and it's still Chris Hallett with a provisional pole position at 127.7. And it was only 2 drivers who were able to break the 127 margin, to break through it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at TRD Nico at the moment, as he had a spin coming out of turn 8, which has left him not in a good position at the moment, because he is in 7th now. Bruno puts in a 28.0, the 5th driver to put in a 28.0. There will be Leon, who puts himself in a 27.9. We have Fusion with a 28.1 as well, and then I believe Slinky. I think he improved, but it was an invalidated time, so he's still in P7 is Slinky. It's unfortunate for him. Chris Hallett, I'm not too sure if he improved his time. But yeah, Cool Man and One Elliott both put in a 27.93. And Lynx just gonna... Actually, the other Ferrari, Mentos, is just coming up to the line. What time will it be? It's just over a 10th improvement. Does move himself above Mentos. Then we have the Haas of Nicholas Boiter. What can he do? He's going into the pits. The Red Bull of Carlsberry does not improve.
Now the Ferrari of Lynx has traffic, and he's going back to the pits.
He wasn't. I think he must have had a moment in the lap, because it wasn't looking good. Yeah, it wasn't looking too good for him there.
So it's going to be Chris Hallett on pole position. Big achievement.
Yeah, very, very, very good there from Chris Hallett. So top 10 for qualifying. We have Chris Hallett in P1, beating out their sister team, well, the bigger brother team, should we say. Red Bull with One Elliott, then Coolman in P3, Leon in P4, Lynx in P5, Bruno in P6, Nicholas Boiter in P7, Slinky in P8, Nico in P9, and Kart Racer in P10. If you want to do the rest.
Outside of the top 10, we have Fusion, Sam, Trustron, Mentos, Kyle, Joey, Carlsberry, Maciek Lutinsky, El Pilotor, and a driver who did not set any lap times.
I believe that was Marnix. Yeah, I believe that was Marnix in last place. But of course, just because you start last, it doesn't mean your race is over. That's just qualifying.
Well, we remember what happened to Jenson Button in the Canadian Grand Prix in 2009. He started last. He ended up winning the race. So, no. It was 2010? He was with the McLaren. Or 11.
Yeah.
So never say never. Keep your heads up. And always believe and keep your faith alive. Amen. So, ladies and gents, I hope you have enough time to rush to the kitchen, grab yourselves your favorite snacks and drinks, because after that, we are going to be racing in Bahrain. So, the lights are preparing for the go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's an excellent start from Chris Hallett. He stays first. That was a superb start.
Oh, 4 wide in parts. Oh, spinner. That's cool, man. And Leon. And Nicholas Boiter. There's carnage at turn 1. But we've still got the same top 2. We've got Chris Hallett leading 1 Elliott. But there was carnage at the front. I believe it was Leon, Nicholas Boiter, and Kuhlman all colliding with each other. We see Carlsberry have an amazing start and up into P5 for Carlsberry.
Well, he's on the softs.
I just saw Nico went wide down at turn 10. He's lost the position to Kuhlman, but Fusion is not going to be close enough to try and capitalize on that mistake by Nico. Yeah, just looking at the position changes, Carlsberry is up 12 positions from P17 to P5. And the next biggest gainer you have to say is El Pilotor is Joey. I think he spun round on the exit, not sure if it's through any fault of his own, but that's not good to see if you are Joey RC. See Carlsberry get past the links. He is on the soft tyre, so he potentially will be doing a 2-stop here because the soft tyres really do not last long with how abrasive the track surface is and the general high temperature here in Bahrain. Of course, it is basically a desert where this track is set, so the temperatures are going to be very high even when it's getting dark.
And in the midst of all this, Chris Hallett is leading by 1.6 seconds. 2 laps already, 1.7 seconds. You can tell that Chris Hallett might be, it's 1.9 seconds now. He is the fastest driver on the track at the moment. Chris Hallett.
So like I said beforehand, with people might start on the hards, well, there's only 3 people on the track at the moment who, well, aren't on hards. You got Chris Hallett in the lead who decided to go for mediums. We have El Pilotor who's on the mediums as well, and I'm on board with Carlsberry as he gets himself up into P3. It's a Red Bull 2-3 at the moment. But the only bad thing about this strategy for Carlsberry, it's going to be a 2-stop strategy. And he's still not even the fastest man on the track, even with the soft tyre. Chris Hallett is really setting the pace here.
Oh, take a look at Mentos and Leon. It's going to be 3 cars wide. The Alfa Romeo goes through.
Oh,
and
contact!
Whoa, that was a spin. Ay, 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 ay. Mentos
I'm
drops
not too
down.
sure what happened there. Not too sure. I saw them banging wheels, and
What?
then just Mentos got spun. Yeah, on the exit, they were really, really fighting for position,
It was
and they
three
were
cars
banging
wide.
tires.
3 cars wide.
Yeah.
Between the Ferrari of Mentos, the Alfa Romeo of Leon, and the Williams of Kart Tracer. And when it's 3 cars wide, things don't end up very well.
Three does not go into one, as the saying goes. And it definitely did not go into that corner.
So the DRS has been enabled now, as we are currently on the 3rd lap of the race. And I am currently on board with Kyle Xaret, very close to Marnix. We might have something on the main straight now, with the DRS being enabled, as Chris Hallett just started the 4th lap of the race, and he's already 2.8 seconds leading. Just wow. This man is flying.
Yeah.
Take a look at
Yeah, he's
Slinky.
really shown his pace.
Slinky with the DRS. Too close yet too far on the McLaren of Fusion. He's going to get it once again. On board with Slinky now. It's not going to be on this lap. Oh, the McLaren goes wide. Slinky with a better exit. He's going to go side by side. No, he's not. Fusion closes the door on him. Slinky is being pressured by El Pilotor right behind him. So no room for mistakes as they are heading into turn 10. The DRS enabled once again. The McLaren going wide. And Nicolas
Yeah, and
Boyta.
as Nicholas Boyta gets a 3-second time penalty here, and it's very interesting to see what's happening here with the Red Bulls, because of course Carlsberg is on the softs, Elliott is on the hards, and Elliott is not making this easy for Carlsberg. He is getting closer, he is much closer on this lap, but he does not have a lot of VRS left. He's getting closer and closer and closer. He decides not to go for the overtake.
Slinky with the DRS open. He overtakes Fusion and he gets overtaken by El Pilotor at the same time. You know, those Red Bulls remind me a bit of Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. I mean, you guys should be helping each other and not making your lives miserable.
Well, the softs do not last long around here, and well, I don't think Elliott is... Well, Carlsberg is in Elliott's race at the moment, so Elliott could just let Carlsberg go and just... If he pulls away, he does. If he doesn't, then you can re-overtake him. But yeah, these softs will not last much longer on Carlsberg's car.
Taking a look at Sam in P16. He's only 3/10 behind Trust Run. So 5 laps completed. A lot more to go. And Chris Hallett leading by 3.4 seconds on 1 Elliott.
Yeah, these hard tires should start to get into their window, start to get into their peak. But really past lap 10 is when they should start feeling a lot better compared to the mediums. And if Carlsberg is going to keep on going on these softs, then good luck to him, to be honest, because these soft tyres should start falling off around about now. It should only really last 6 or 7 laps. Well, not even that, probably about 5 or 6 laps these softs should last, so they will be towards the end of their life, or getting close to that point.
And
As we see yellow flags, and that's Bruno.
Contact with Lynx.
Yeah, that was contact. There's definite contact there.
And on board now with Slinky, only 1/10 separating him from Nico. Nico of the Aston Martin. Nico had a better exit. Heading into turn 14, followed by turn 15. Nico goes wide, he goes off track. Opening the room for Slinky. Slinky goes through. Slinky is in P7 now with the DRS enabled. Double advantage. And El Pilotor
look at the pace. Look at the pace that Slinky has. He even nearly caught up to Coolman.
And the McLaren misses his braking point. Almost made contact with Nico.
Oh, who's that? That's Bruno. Bruno is off again. Twice in the space of, well, 3 corners. Bruno has gone off, and he was in P5, and now he finds himself in P17.
Well, we were talking a couple of minutes ago about starting from P20 to P1. Bruno did the complete opposite. Not the complete opposite, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not been a great race for... It started off a fantastic race for Bruno, but it's not been great so far. We're about a quarter of the way through this race. So Bruno has still got about 22, 23 laps left as ASM has retired. He's retired on track.
You can't park that, sir.
Yeah, he retired on track. You're
gonna
not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to retire on track there, Sam.
And thank God it's not a safety car.
Yes. I'm just looking at this big old train that we've got here going from El Pilotor in P5 to Marnix in P12. It is 8 cars along this train. So if you're right at the back of this train, then good luck to you, because you're not going to get anywhere anytime soon unless there's a mistake from the cars ahead. Or you could try undercut at some point. Of course, everyone in this train, apart from El Pilotor, is on the hard tires.
Oh, Kart Racer!
Oh.
How on earth? How on earth did he find the gap to go through? That was a very dangerous move, but it's legal. It's completely legal, and it was breathtaking from Kart Racer. Were you able to see it?
Yeah, it's a really, really nice move, as Carlsberry is the first man to pit. And, well, the gap... He was in P3. He will be coming out on track. Maybe even behind Joey and Mentos. He's going to come out just in between Mentos and Maciej Latinsky. Yeah, it's not a great... Oh, Leon has a really big moment. He had a really, really big moment there coming out of turn 4. He got on the exit curb of turn 4 a bit too much, put on the power and nearly spun off into the wall on the right side. Very, very lucky to keep his car going straight and, most importantly, on track. As I said right at the start of this race, only 3 people not starting on the hards, and at one point,
Oh, contact.
all
Contact
of them
between
were in the
Joey
top
and Mentos.
five.
Sorry to interrupt. There was contact between Joey and Mentos as they were going into turn 10. Mentos lost his car, and he is now the tail of the race.
Yeah, I believe that's the second time actually that Joey and Mentos have made contact this race. So maybe it's a thing where they're just battling hard with each other and it's going a little bit overboard. But yeah, Leon is really starting to struggle on these hard tyres. He's just not gaining the time that you think he would. He's 9/10, 9.5 tenths off Marnix. He is actually teetering on the edge of being out of DRS. And well, it's still, this train is still, I think it's actually extended now. It's from El Pilotor to Leon.
You know, it's
Well, it was. It's Cool Man to Leon.
Well, it's nice to
Which
see the top
I
five
think it's about.
drivers with a margin of at least 1 second separating the driver from the other. So we've got 4
Yeah, it
seconds
got.
between Elliott and Hallett.
Ooh, big moment there from Leon is he just getting a bit of oversteer and his rear end just sliding. It's not really what you want to have on these hard tyres where they're the same age as everyone else's hard tyres. And yeah, we see Slinky. Yeah, Slinky got past, but now Coolman is going to be getting the DRS on Slinky, and it looks like they got about a similar exit, but yeah, Slinky just managed to extend the gap just a little bit, even with Coolman having the DRS.
So 11 laps have passed. It's Chris Hallett leading the race, 4 seconds behind Chris Elliott. 1 Elliott, sorry, apologies. In third place, Lynx, 2.3 seconds behind, followed by El Pilotor and Slinky in P5. Behind Slinky, you can find a train of cars till P10 with Marnix.
Yeah, we saw a man who was fairly dominant with one Elliott at the front at Barcelona is now really struggling to even get into the points. Leon is just, maybe this is a track that just really doesn't suit his driving style and he's struggling. Or maybe it's just a bad race for him at the time being, but still got over half of the race left, so anything can happen. Slinky with the fastest lap. He's a man on the mission. He's going to really want to prove that he can fight with the big boys in this too.
On board with Bruno. Bruno goes to the side of the Mercedes, goes for a very late lunge. Oh! He makes contact with the Alpine of Trustron, and he makes him drop 2 positions. That wasn't a very clean move. I think Trustron is gonna appeal it to the stewards. That was a definite contact, and it breaks the driving etiquette. You cannot go for a dive bomb. So Chris Hallett still leading the race. And you start to wonder, when is he going to pit? We are currently on the 12th lap of the race, still not halfway through the race.
Yeah, just just looking at the gaps at the moment, the biggest gap between drivers is Nicholas Boitard to Leon. But then you've just got One Elliott is still about 4 seconds, just over 4 seconds behind Chris Hallett. And of course, Chris Hallett is going to be pitting much, much earlier than One Elliott. So that means that, well, Chris Hallett can definitely get an undercut going. He can undercut to keep his position. But what this also means is that if One Elliott decides to pit before Chris Hallett can afford 1 or 2 laps to pit. He doesn't have to pit right away. One Elliott is not in a position to undercut and then Chris Hallett pits straight away. One Elliott needs to go, but as I'm talking about this, Chris Hallett decides to pit for the hard tyres. And if One Elliott wants to have a chance of keeping a gap or closing down the gap as much as possible, One Elliott really has to pit.
We have a yellow
if he
flag.
Wants to keep it going. But One Elliott, he's had a big moment. I'm not sure what happened to him. I was talking about One Elliott, but TF Lynx is actually in the net race lead, and One Elliott went from the provisional race lead down to the provisional 4th place. Yeah, TF Lynx has got a huge gap to El Pilotor behind, 3.8 seconds. That is Joey RC spinning out of turn 4, which is so unfortunate ever since he had both incidents with Mentos, as we see. That's Carlsberry. Carlsberry, I think, was letting Joey RC pass. I think it may have been an incident involving the two, and Carlsberry is taking it upon himself to let Joey back through unless he had an illegal overtake that we missed. Chris Hallett, it was a very, very well timed pit from him. He has got clean air ahead of him, but he's got Bruno breathing down his neck, and Coolman and Nico and Leon all decide to pit, and One Elliott gets a move done on El Pilotor. Maybe this just shows that Chris Hallett pitted at the right time, because it looks like El Pilotor's mediums are starting to drop off. Bruno is very close behind Chris Hallett. If he wants to get a move done on this lap, he needs to get it done here. 3.5 tenths is the gap. How close will it be going on to the entry? About 2.5 tenths. He made about a tenth on that lap, but then he loses it all on the mid-corner and exit. Of course, Chris Hallett's tyres are going to be, well, at the moment, they are 13 laps younger than everyone else around him, so he's going to be the fastest man on track for a little while longer. Until the hard runners pit. He has a little bit of a slide going through turn 10, but it didn't compromise him too much. And just in those few corners, he's already made up about 3 or 4 attempts on SBS Fusion. So yeah, you can really see how good these new hard tyres are compared to the old ones, and even the old mediums of El Pilotor. We see most of the people have decided to go on to mediums, but all of them who have pitted already, apart from Chris Hallett, have decided to go on to the mediums. One Elliott I just saw put in the fastest lap of this race so far, so One Elliott is really trying to push. But just looking at the gap to the leader at the moment, 18 seconds is the gap from Chris Hallett to Lynx. And that gap is about 14 seconds between himself and One Elliott. So Chris Hallett is going to be miles ahead of One Elliott. And he's going to be even further. Well, TF Lynx is going to be a bit closer, but the man that he was fighting, he's going to be miles ahead of him. He's only 14 behind.
The Alfa Romeo Leon switching places with Joey RC on turn 4. That was a very good move. And I don't think there were any team orders involved, so the two racers were freely racing each other. Of course,
yeah,
Leon
both Alfa Romeos. Yeah, Leon's going to be on the fresher tyres, but you like to think that both Alfa Romeos, it's going to be a very disappointing race for them at the moment. Just because, well, Leon, he was fighting at the front in the last race, and this is very, very interesting. El Pilotor is going longer on mediums than some drivers are on the hard tyres. Is this a strategy call from AlphaTauri to try and ensure Chris Hallett gets this win?
I don't know.
Is this going to be an AlphaTauri masterclass?
But are they But then they would be compromising El Pilotor's race.
Yeah, maybe. But it's also like, if Chris Hallett can catch up quick enough to El Pilotor could potentially hold up everyone behind.
I mean, you have a point.
Could it be a Sergio Perez masterclass in defense?
Could be.
Because, yeah, the fresh mediums are going to be so much faster than Chris Hallett's hards. And with 13 laps left in, 13 laps left, it's going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be 12 at the end of this one. But, yeah, it's going to be difficult for Chris Hallett to keep a lead, as TF Lynx is only 5 seconds behind.
And
but
you should not forget that Chris Hallett has Bruno on his tail.
Yeah, he's had Bruno on his tail ever since he came out of the pits, but Bruno does have to pit. Do you believe he is one? Yeah, him and El Pilotor are the only people who have not pitted, so Bruno is going for a very interesting strategy here. Could we see that Bruno is trying to go hard soft? It certainly looks that way, that he's going to be trying to go hard to soft. He will have to pit at around the end of lap 23, 24 to make it work, and by that point he might be close to the back, but he will be on the fastest tyre, which is the soft here.
I'm currently on
Chris Hallett.
Yeah. Marnix is only 2/10 behind Carlsberry as they're gonna move into turn 10. They go. The Red Bull goes through. The Haas goes through with DRS enabled, getting very close to him. He's trying to do an attacking move. He does not attack yet, while Fusion receives a 3-second time penalty. You don't want to get penalties in Bahrain. It's a very easy track, and it's very easy to keep it clean, so you don't really want penalties. Marnix still 2/10 behind Cosberry. It might be up to the third DRS zone as we are heading into turn 15. They go. DRS enabled for Marnix. He's going to go to the side of the Red Bull of Carlsberry, and through he goes. That was a very easy move from Marnix, moving up into the points in P10.
Yeah, it's a very, very nice move there. Yeah, Leon Fusion and Nicholas Boita, the only drivers to have penalties at this moment in time, and it's not great for them. And just looking at the positions gained at the moment, Coolman is down 10 positions and Marnix is up 10 positions. Marnix started last after not saying a lap time, and well, Coolman started third, and I believe he had a coming together at turn one with Leon and Nicholas Boita. Of course, behind Coolman is Nicholas Boita, but Leon has found himself up in P8. So it's been a very good recovery drive from the earlier incident from Leon. You can't really say the same for Coolman and Nicholas Boita.
So 10 laps to go. And El Pilotor provisionally leading the race until he pits. 19 laps on the mediums. That's a lot.
I've really got a feeling that El Pilotor and Bruno are gonna be trying to go for a soft, go to the softs at the end of their stints, which a medium soft at Bahrain is unheard of. And Chris Hallett is really starting to reel in El Pilotor now. You could just see the understeer that El Pilotor has at the moment. The wear on the tyres is really starting to affect him. And Bruno, well, he's still keeping with Chris Hallett as El Pilotor pits. He's going to be going to the softs for nine laps on the soft tyres. They're going to be really dead at the end of that stint. I remember when I said when Chris Hallett came out, well, when everyone had pitted, the likes of Lynx and One Elliott, when they pit, Lynx was 5 seconds behind Chris Hallett. That gap is now under 3 seconds. So if Lynx can get close enough, there's a crash. Carlsberry maybe had a little bit of a spin going through turn one. But yeah, Bruno, as I said, he's going to be going as quick as he can and just trying to hold on to Chris Hallett here. And if Lynx can get into the DRS of Bruno, before Bruno comes into the pits and changes to the softs, it's going to put Chris Hallett in a very difficult situation. Because although he's on the hard tyres, and theoretically they get better the longer they are used compared to the other tyres, Lynx's mediums are 3 laps younger. So it's going to be hard to keep him behind. And I'm still really surprised the fact that Bruno has gone 21 laps on his hard tyres.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen a one-stop strategy being pulled off at Bahrain, let alone a hard soft.
But life teaches you sometimes, never say never.
There's only one way to see if something works, and that's by doing it.
Exactly. So
the gap between... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the gap between Chris Hallett and Lynx is getting very close to being under 2 seconds. Is getting very close to being under 2 seconds. And yeah, really, really pushing now. I think Bruno is pushing really hard, so this might indicate that he might be pitting this lap, or he's just pushing really hard to try and keep in the DRS of Chris Hallett, because once he falls out of that DRS, he's gonna fall victim to TF Lynx. And if Lynx can get past Bruno before he pits, it's gonna be trouble for Chris Hallett trying to keep Lynx behind. And Lynx is very, very close to getting into the DRS range, but he's just losing time because of Bruno having the DRS. So 7 laps to go here.
That's a mistake from Carlos
in Bahrain.
Had a poor exit, and it's Fusion who benefited from the DRS. He went through, and now the Haas and
Nicholas
the Red Bull.
Boyta.
Oh, Carlsberry still side by side. Was there a contact? I believe there was a contact.
No, I don't think there's contact. I think he just got the power down a little bit too hard and early, and his rear just stepped out. He is on 14 lap old hards, but Bruno's hards are 8 laps older than Carlsberry's. As El Pilotor finds his way past one Elliott. He had made his way past Slinky earlier, but El Pilotor is really pushing on with these fresh softs. But with 7 laps to go, well, about 6 2/3, well, 6 1/3 laps to go, it's going to be really touch and go on this tyre life of the softs as Bruno pits in now. Bruno's pitted in and unleashed Lynx onto Chris Hallett with 6 laps to go. What moves can Lynx make? I'd say his medium tyres are going to be about halfway through their life at this moment in time, and I'd say Chris Hallett's hards are going to be close to halfway through, I'd say, or maybe even not halfway through now. But yeah, the gap is getting very dangerously close to the DRS range that TF Lynx needs.
Chris Hallett might think that he is relieved that now that Bruno went to the pits, but he doesn't know that Lynx is getting closer and closer to him. With now the gap between them is 1.1 seconds, and it's gonna keep on diminishing until the tires of Lynx start degrading or start the degradation.
Yeah, I'm just on board with El Pilotor at the moment, as he is really pushing on these soft tires. And, well, this is a
yellow flag.
5-car race, well, 5-car train for the final spot on the podium, led by Kart Racer. Or Kart Racer, sorry.
There was the yellow flag for the Ferrari of Mentos. El Pilotor going side by side with the Williams of... Oh, here he goes. That was a very risky move from Elliott of Red Bull. You should be careful on your braking points. And I've seen this sentence 1 million times now. It's better to ruin your race than to ruin the race of others.
Yeah. Well, Lynx is getting very close now to breaking that DRS, and he's got within a second.
He's very low on ERS though.
He has got within that second, and Chris Hallett has still got about 20% there.
We are currently entering the 26th lap of the race. 4 laps remain. And you can see Lynx benefiting from the DRS, and he is on 0 ERS, so he needs to save, he needs to recharge the battery. And we have our first message of the day. Let's take a look and see who's it from. Okay, so we have Linus supporting Coolman.
Nice. Yeah, cool, man. He's currently in the points. He's got 1 point at the moment in P10, so it's going well. But he does have Bruno on 2 lap old soft tyres behind and closing very quickly. So Mentos on the soft tyres has just picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. But all eyes are focused on this battle for the race lead here. Sector 2, yellow flags. That's Bruno on the soft tyres.
That's his strategy ruined.
Yeah, if he spin on this track with soft tyres, they're going to be pretty much ruined. Carlsberry breaks very, very deep and almost collides with Bruno.
And now only 3/10 separating Lynx from Chris Hallett.
I think he might have
the DRS. He might have the advantage now, trying to benefit from the slipstream. Oh, Chris Hallett defends the inside line. That was a very blunt move from Chris Hallett. Lynx was trying to go for the switcheroo. Nicely defended from Chris Hallett.
He's going to be switching to the inside again. He's going to show the outside line to Lynx. Lynx tries to go from here on the outside, but he's still ahead is Chris Hallett. 3 laps to go, about 2.5 laps to go here. And well, if I was Lynx, I wouldn't use any of your ERS until the last lap. You're on a faster tyre, you're on a fresher tyre. I wouldn't use any ERS and save it for the last lap. Chris Hallett has nearly double Lynx's DRS, and while there's still the DRS train behind old Pilotor to Leon, although Leon has the penalty, so he's not really in contention for the podium, as Chris Hallett runs very, very wide there.
Well, one thing for sure is that Lynx is definitely faster than Chris Hallett, and Chris Hallett is doing the impossible to try to keep the lead of the race, to keep his dreams alive of getting a victory in Formula 6. With the DRS enabled by Lynx, getting very close to him, 2:10 separating them. It's not going to be on this corner as we move now into the first DRS zone of the 28th lap. Chris Hallett defending the inside line. Looks like Lynx will be going around the outside. Chris Hallett closing the door. You know, you need to be very careful. You don't want to put your race on the line. Finishing second is better than not finishing at all.
Exactly, yeah, 100%. Definitely agree with that. You're either all in or not.
Chris Hallett is now preparing to start the last lap of the race, unless Lynx is preparing any surprises on the last DRS zone. He is overusing DRS.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be literally on nothing. Chris Hallett could just full blast it down his straight and he'll be completely fine. He is defending the inside very, very clearly, moving to the inside, trying to break the toe of Lynx, and well, he's still got over 10% left of his battery, so he can use it once again down the second DRS straight
You know, Chris
And I
Hallett,
think barring any mistakes, it's really gonna be his race.
Chris Hallett is gaining on the straights, gaining a few tenths.
Yeah, he's pulling away because of
The ERS.
Links having below 10%. Yeah, starting to derate.
Well, Lynx was digging his own grave when he overused his ERS on the last in the past few laps, and he's still losing time. Now it's
Yeah, it's losing time on the straights even though he's got DRS.
that's a bit sad for Lynx.
But you have to say, the pole man here, Chris Hallett, has made a statement in F6, finishing third, I believe, in F8 last season, being a sort of understudy for his teammate Peter Vol last season. Not this season. He wins in Bahrain with Lynx in P2 while Pilot Tour on the soft tyres. Very good strategy for him. As he finishes on the podium, it's a double AlphaTauri podium. Kart Racer in fourth, One Elliott in fifth. Slinky spins across the line in sixth. Leon in seventh. Marnix in eighth. Nico in ninth. Coolman rounding off the points in P10.
So that's an
Oh, yeah.
amazing result for Chris Hallett. It's a great achievement to put on your resume, on your CV, or on your, let's say, trophy museum to say that you are a Formula 6 race winner in PSGL.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened to Carsberry. It said that it DNF'd.
Wow. Maybe
And he is in 19th. Yeah.
He crashed probably on the last lap.
Yeah, he was probably pushing for the fastest lap and just looking at the fastest lap. Mentos does a little 360 across the line. Very stylish there from Mentos. Although it does finish in P18.
And El Pilotor is the driver of the day. And now champagne showers for Chris Hallett. Fully deserved, this man. We're gonna go quickly through the list so we can continue watching the USA playing against Wales in the World Cup. So, ladies and gents, it's Chris Hallett who wins in Bahrain. Amazing result from him. Lynx in second place, followed by El Pilotor. Outside of the top three, we have Kart Racer, One Elliott, Slinky in sixth, Leon, Marnix, Nico, and Coolman. Outside of the top 10, could you please lead the way?
Yeah, so we have Bruno in 11th with the fastest lap, which I believe is 8 tenths faster, or 7 tenths faster than anyone else. Nicholas Boiter in P12, SBS Fusion in 13th, Carl Scarra in 14th, Trust Run in 15th. We have Joey RC in 16th. Maciej Lutinsky in 17th, Mentos in 18th. Then we have Carls, Berry, and Sem, who both DNF'd, but Carlsberry is still classified as 19th because he spun on the last lap.
Ladies and gents, this is it for today's race. We hope to see you next week, same time, with the same people, at the same place. PSGL Formula 6, Salim Haddad and Speed Quinn kissing you good night.